Welcome, spiritual travelers, to another Mystic Owl Pick a Card reading. Today's theme is July 2020. What's coming your way? So blessings and guidance for next month. We have 4 piles today. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. I'm going to do a shuffle of the rune cards to get a place marker for each pile. And that will give us the overall theme of the month for you and what this reading will be about in terms of what's coming your way next month. So pile 1. Ooh, you have the rune of Hagalaz. Pile 2, you have the rune of Tharusis. Pile 3, you have the rune of Iwas. And pile 4, you have the rune of Isa. We'll put that there. So as per usual, please use your intuition. Maybe have a look over the cards again to pick the card that sort of ignites something in your soul. Remember, this is a general reading, so take only the information that resonates with you and leave the rest behind. And let's move on to pile 1. Hello, pile 1, with the rune of Hagalaz, which is the rune of hail and destructive forces, like cold destructive forces. Reminds me actually of the Tower card in the tarot, an unexpected brash change that will disrupt your life to some degree, which isn't a positive omen to start the reading, but I will provide as much positive sort of guidance as possible, because I want this to be about blessings that are coming your way. So just remember that a sudden change can be a good thing too, that when the Tower card comes up in tarot, it's about disrupting your life for the better so you can get back on your right path, basically, and build your life from a solid foundation. It's a positive force, so that I guess it's a change that you probably couldn't make on your own. So in a sense, it's kind of divine intervention stepping in and really like, putting you back on the right path, which I see as a positive thing. I'm also not surprised to see all 4 of these cards that came out from the runes cards have sort of a harsher sort of energy to them. And I'm not surprised to see that, because I think the collective consciousness is really feeling the effects of a lot of trauma recently, with 2020 being, I think, like the Tower in terms of starting and moving into the age of Aquarius. I think 2020 is the year that like a lot of abrupt changes are happening in the world, so that we can actually learn to be more united and to live together as one and support each other and support humanity as one, basically. So on that, let's see what your other cards have to say for what's coming your way in July 2020. So your Moonology cards. Oh, you're the waxing crescent moon. Have faith in your dreams. There you go. That's lovely. And you have full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches. You have the card of inspiration, number 46. Ideas, spark, conception, and impulse. And you have the card of Ring, number 25, which I would generally associate with like a proposal or marriage. But what I do see here for you, pile 1, is the opportunity to commit to something new. The cards are asking you to take a commitment and make a stand on something. I see a really rapid change coming your way. Something that isn't serving you is going to fall apart or fall away from your life, and the cards are asking you to like use that opportunity to commit to something else. I see it happening very soon too. It'll be unexpected and quite abrupt with the rune of Hagalaz here. That sort of cold destruction, like the Tower card. You've also got the card here of a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries, indicating a real sudden change. Along with the word impulse in the inspiration card, I see something coming through that will just really change your life quite abruptly. And just remember, it'll be for the better. So take advantage of this opportunity to think about what it is that you want to build in your life that will be solid and something that you can commit to for the long haul. This energy will be coming through very soon too, with the card of have faith in your dreams and waxing crescent moon. The waxing crescent moon actually leading in to the full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. This will be a change that'll happen very suddenly and very quickly. And the cards are also asking you to really act on impulse too. That's something that I wouldn't generally advise, but I sense that you've had an inspiration or an epiphany at some point recently, and there's something that you want to commit to and change in your life. The cards are asking you to do that quite abruptly and suddenly, as soon as you can, and to really capitalize on the chance to build something quite amazing and to follow your dreams, pile 1. I do also see for you too, pile 1, that there's a need for you to really fight off those negative thoughts and to continue to commit to this change, whatever it may be for you. The reason I say that is that you've got the card of the rune of Hagalaz, which is the rune associated with hail and ice, basically, along with a fiery climax approaches. So you've got opposing forces there with ice and fire. One could douse the other. You need to make sure that you're in the best mind space so that you continue to dedicate yourself to this change and rebuild your life for the better. There is a potential here that somebody may be proposing to you. If you have a relationship that's been a bit stagnant, I see it sort of taking off to the next level. It doesn't necessarily have to be a proposal for marriage, but it could be just a commitment that will be a lot stronger, basically. So there is positives in this reading, in the sense that you've had an inspiration about changing your life and doing something different. And the cards are really calling for you to tap into that and to have faith and to follow your dreams, which is really quite amazing. Yeah, be like the ram in the full moon in Aries card and just rush into it. Be impulsive, brash, take a chance. Cool. On that, pile 1, let's get some further messages about what's coming your way in June 2020 from the Commonplace Tarot deck. I also see a lot of cards here associated with the crown chakra. So you've got the inspiration card. I see a lot of purple in the waxing moon, the waxing crescent moon card too, with the butterfly there also. There's purple in the card of Hagalaz, and also with the light emanating from the ring. I sense that this is divinely guided, that you're supposed to change your life and do something different, because that will allow you to sort of follow your life purpose. And it's something that will bring you joy and happiness, I sense also, pile 1, because when you actually start sort of following your life purpose and align with your higher calling, it just feels right, you know, it's something that you would want to commit to, basically. it doesn't seem like it takes much effort to actually do those things. Based on experience, anyway. Okay, the first card that came out for you. Oh, it's the Ace of Wands. Okay. And your next two cards. You have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, right? And you have the Five of Cups. Okay. I was actually just thinking to myself, I get a like fiery energy from this reading, based on, I guess, the full moon in Aries, but also the abrupt change associated with the rune of Hagalaz. I know that's about ice and hail, but just a really abrupt, fiery change, basically. Along with also the ring with that glow, that fiery sort of halo coming from the ring. I see a lot of fire in this reading. And then the first card that came out was the Ace of Wands, which is all about sort of inspiration, basically. Having a new inspiration, a desire to change up your life and to do something new. There's something that you've wanted to undertake, maybe changing career, or I always see the Ace of Wands as like the want and need to start traveling again, to go off on a journey, like to start something new, basically. But I do sense it's about like a talent or a craft that you have here. So you've got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, indicating that there's something that you can do with your hands, some sort of craft or talent that you have, a creative passion that you have, that you could really sort of start to capitalize on. But you haven't actually taken the chance yet to follow your dreams, basically, pile one. But July 2020 is a perfect opportunity to do that. So there's going to be a rapid change or a breakdown in, I guess, your day-to-day routines in July 2020, I see. But this will be an opportunity for you to actually start to focus on the things you've always wanted to try. And to leave behind, with the Five of Cups here, to leave behind those things that haven't been serving you in the past, that haven't been emotionally fulfilling for you. Whether that be a certain career path or a relationship that hasn't worked, basically, and the opportunity to meet someone new. Or just activities in your life that you know probably aren't for your higher good, basically. The real opportunity here for you to like take a chance on something that inspires you in life. And the cards are indicating that if you do that, then your dreams will come true, with the card of ring and the commitment here, along with the waxing moon, indicating that you should follow your dreams. Nice. Finally, for you, pile one, let's get some further messages from the Angel of Abundance Oracle deck. I also see here a very well-rounded group too. So you have fire with the Ace of Wands and the full moon in Aries. You have water with the Five of Cups and the rune of Hagalaz. You have earth here with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And you also have air energy with the inspiration card and also the ring, about sort of a desire to do something. A very well-rounded group. And I sense that if you tap into this inspiration in July 2020 and start to sort of dedicate yourself to something that you've always wanted to do, or changing your path, that the rest of your life will actually feel fulfilled, basically. This is like leading you into like setting a solid foundation and tapping into something that can really set you up for the rest of your life. So the card that came out for you, oh, partnership, interesting. Allow healthful, supportive partnerships into your personal life and career, and both parties benefit as a result. You are receiving help from heaven and from a person who brings needed skills and resources. Interesting, there you go. Okay, so we did see that potentially there could be a relationship or some sort of partnership coming through with the ring card here. What I am seeing is that you will start to like take assistance and help from a close loved one, or potentially there will be like an offer for a partnership in a new career venture or something like that coming through. But definitely the opportunity for you, Pile 1, to commit to something more wholesome in your life, and to allow, I guess, those close relationships around you to like offer help in terms of like changing your path and committing to something different and bigger. Or there may actually just be a new relationship coming in. If you've been looking for love and what you've been dreaming to sort of bring into your world as a relationship, I do see that you have the chance here with the Ace of Wands, the card of partnership, and the Ring card, to meet someone and actually feel that will actually be really special and make you feel alive again, like a real beautiful blossoming romance that could stand the test of time. Part 1? Yes, but be impulsive too. Get yourself out there. Try something new. Take a chance. I do see at the start of July there will be an abrupt change, something that will rock your world, but try not to get too caught up in that and allow yourself to realize that there's something bigger and better coming your way, whether it be a new relationship or the opportunity to really like join forces with someone that you care about, to like take a chance on a career path or a new passion that you've always wanted to try. That's all I have for you, Pile 1. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe. And let's move on to Pile 2. Welcome, Pile 2, with the rune of Thurusus, which is the rune associated with the god Thor. Lots of power, strength. It's a positive rune in the sense that it's Thor is, I guess, a god that is generally seen as being quite good and protective of humanity in a way. But generally it's a rune associated with having a lot of power, but like defensive power, only using your power when it's needed to like protect other people, or to look after yourself, in a sense, to be defensive, basically. All of the runes that came out when I was drawing the runes initially for the timestamps, the place markers, sorry, have a darker theme actually, which was in a way not surprising, because I do feel that the last few months the world has been going through a darker time, I guess. I see 2020 as being like the precipice of the age of Aquarius, where we're moving into a lighter era. We're coming from the age of Pisces, which is dense, sort of confusing, darker energy, moving into the light in a way in the age of Aquarius, where we all start to look after and support each other, and humanity starts to sort of rise and ascend, when we all find our north nodes and start to do the things that bring out the best in us, but support other people on their journey also. So it's not surprising to see, 4 cards that have a sort of darker, heavier theme, but yeah, I do see a very powerful group here. Someone that has a lot of like heart, wants to do the best and serve humanity for the greater good. So on that, let's see what the rest of your cards have to say, Pile 2, for what's coming your way in July 2020. Your Moonology cards. Oh, they're upside down. Your first card is Full Moon in Pisces. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. Yeah, I was just talking about the age of Pisces and moving into the age of Aquarius. There you go. Oh, you have the New Moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. That's interesting. So you have the Full Moon in Pisces and the New Moon in Scorpio, both water signs. You have the card of Passion. Number 25, desire, fun, fulfillment, and joy. And your final card, lovely, is the Sun card. Nice. So what I do see for you, Pile 2, not surprising really, but I see a bit of an emotional time at the start of July 2020 where you'll have to do some like inner work. I see a period of like shadow work where you'll start to delve into, I guess, the deeper aspects of your psyche and start to work out like why you do certain things that maybe aren't good for you, or just start to deal with some emotions that potentially you've shoved down to your subconscious because in the past you haven't maybe had the strength to deal with them. But you've got the rune of Therusis here, indicating a very powerful and strong group. Along with the card of full moon in Pisces, balance, spirituality, practicality, and the the new moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. I do see a very sort of spiritually inclined group that I sense is potentially like doing some shadow work for the collective consciousness. You're a group that like feels things quite deeply when we're going through some darkness, which we have been this year, especially with like the coronavirus for the last 6 months, the riots in America with the Black Lives Matter movement, bushfires here in Australia. You've been feeling these things quite deeply, I sense, and now is the time for you to start working through those emotions and to start to release them so that you can sort of transmute that energy for the collective consciousness. I see a very sort of empathic group that I would probably call light workers, really. I don't know if that resonates with you. My channel generally is quite spiritual, so I see a group that I would call light workers here that is quite empathic and feels things very deeply. So a very emotional group here too, with Pisces and Scorpio both being water signs, along with the card of passion here associated with your heart chakra. A group that feels things very, very deeply, but also is quite strong too, that has the ability to work through some really dense, dark emotions and to overcome anything, really. And I sense that the start of July 2020, you'll be going through some deeper shit, basically, Pile 2. But at the end of it, you've got the Sun here. So what I do see happening is that once you work through your fears and start to release these negative emotions that you're feeling that'll just be coming up from nowhere, you'll feel a lot lighter and happier. I see that your mind will start to clear and you'll start to be in a place of just feeling joy again and not being so hard on yourself. Remember also with the rune here of Therusis, associated with like a defensive force looking after and protecting like the greater good and only using your powers in a defensive mode. A group that's doing some really, really like beautiful and powerful things for humanity. I also see here too with the Sun card, and you've got the man in the background, the sun sort of overlaid on the man's head. The age of Aquarius being an air sign, right? About your thoughts and the way you think and communicate. You're helping to like free humanity from those darker thoughts too. Not only are you like releasing those darker emotions and sort of transmuting that energy, but just allowing like the collective consciousness to sort of free those darker thoughts that are holding us all back and like keeping us in fear, basically. Working through the fears, like the new moon in Scorpio here. But I also sense too, Pile 2, that this isn't new to you. This is something that you're probably quite switched on with and quite aware of. And the reason I say that is because you do have here the card of passion, desire, fun, fulfillment, and joy. Along with the Sun card, so some real positive energy here. This is something that I think you know that you are doing for the greater good. And even though it is painful at times, I sense that you know that that it's for like the benefit of humanity in a sense. And so in a way, even though you have to work through some darkness, you know that actually is serving humanity and that brings you joy also. It sort of balances it out, even though you know it's quite painful at the time going through it. It actually you realize that this is something that you're doing that is for the greater good, and so serving humanity is something that brings you joy and happiness too, which is quite lovely, I think, pile 2. I've also just noticed here, so you've got the rune here of Theresis. You've also got the same symbol here in the Passion card with the little triangle here in the middle of the stem. A very powerful group that really only sort of uses your powers for the greater good and for, I guess, to serve humanity. Nice. On that pile 2, let's get some further messages about what you can expect in July 2020 from the Commonplace Tarot deck. Yeah, a real opportunity for you to like tap into your heart center here, pile 2, during July 2020 with the card of Passion related to the heart chakra, but also I see with the sort of emerald color or the turquoise color in the full moon in Pisces, a very emotional time for you. But once you get through this pain and trauma at the start of the month, I see a lot of like lighter energy and joy in your the rest of the month and moving forward for the rest of the year for you. A very spiritual group with the card of full moon in Pisces. Pisces about being able to tap into the deeper subconscious, basically. And Scorpio being the sign of spirituality and sort of going into the darkness to release it to the light. And your tarot cards. Oh, you have the 8 of Cups. More water energy. There's a guy outside my window that quite often stands there smoking when I'm doing these videos, and he just sits there and stares at me, and it's really quite disconcerting, but I'm just going to work through it. You have the Page of Wands, lovely. Oh, okay, and you have the 10 of Swords. So what I am seeing for you, pile 2, is kind of a death and a rebirth in a sense. I think you are quite spiritually inclined, and I sense that you probably have been going through an awakening recently, with the Page of Wands indicating like a spiritual journey, or that inspiration in terms of dedicating yourself to, I guess, a spiritual path, really. It's time for you to walk away from this denser energy that you've been going through. I guess your ego, in a sense, here is dying off in a way. And I sense that in July 2020, it's going to be a period of like rapid transformation for you, leading you towards, I guess, your higher calling with the Sun card here. So your ego, I think you're going to start to really dedicate yourself to working through these things. Not only the things that just surface from the collective consciousness in a way that you'll have to transmute and deal with, but I guess your own sort of fears too, things that have been holding you back a little bit too. Really facing your, doing an inventory of those things that do serve you and don't serve you, and actually starting to deal with those things that you know aren't for your greater good, and actually actively working on them. Walking away from those things that were just emotionally unsatisfying for you, pile 2. And committing to something bigger that will bring you joy and happiness. But it won't be an easy experience here. Just know that there is a quite emotional pain, I sense, to start with at the start of July. But it'll all be for the better, and I sense that you know that already. On that pile 2, let's get a final message for you from the Angels of Abundance Oracle deck. I am also picking up on the need to commit to this quite strongly, pile 2. So you've got there the full moon in Pisces. Pisces being the sign of like, you know, dealing with escapism, dabbling into things that maybe aren't for their greater good, just because they are dealing with stuff that other signs probably don't have to. So they tend to like find ways to escape from reality in a way, just to sort of find peace in their own mind. The cards are really calling for you to tackle this like face on with the new moon in Scorpio here. Work through your fears. And the Eight of Cups there, about walking away from things that aren't emotionally satisfying anymore. The cards are calling for you to be like Theresus and actually just face this like head on and overcome these challenges for your own good. And just know that once you do, then you've got the Sun card there and the card of passion, indicating that you'll feel a lot lighter and happier once you've released sort of those darker traits from who you know you're supposed to be. And your card, it says cooperation instead of competition. What's yours is yours. No one can take it away from you. There's no need to compete, as there's an abundance for all. You have complete access to unlimited abundance for yourself and to share with others. With cooperative partnerships, you can accomplish anything. Okay. I think that's basically just some sage advice for you, Pile, to maybe like rely on other people when you're really struggling or feeling a bit down, because I sense that this is going to be a really challenging time for you and quite emotional. There's a need for you to maybe like to call out and touch base with those people that will help you work through these challenges, so that you can get through it like with the least amount of grief. To not try and take it all on your own, but to rely on your friends and family so that they can help you through, basically. That's all I have for you, Pile 2. I know that was kind of a darker reading, but there is a lot of like joy and light at the end of this this challenging time. But just know that you're doing something really amazing for the rest of humanity by working through this stuff. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe. And let's move on to Pile 3. Hello, Pile 3. With the rune of I Was. The rune associated with death, basically, similar to death in the tarot card, like a rebirth too, like a change that is unavoidable. It's also about dealing with your shadow side. I guess exploring your shadow side, tapping into the darker side of your personality and realizing that A, that's just part of who you are, but B, like bringing it to light so that you can start to overcome those challenges and actively work on changing certain traits about yourself that maybe you're not so proud of, or that you just feel are holding you back to some degree. So I see that in July 2020, a lot of shadow work too, similar to Pile 2. They had a similar message, but I think this is about your own benefit, basically. Whereas Pile 2 was sort of dealing with shadows from the collective consciousness, you'll be dealing with like shadow work, dealing with your darker side for your own benefit, so that you can like start to live a life that is a lot more in alignment with your own values, basically. So July, I see you doing a lot of sort of darker shadow work, and really like overcoming those things about you that you're not so, that you just want to change, basically, so that you can, yeah, be a better person, basically. I'm not surprised to see like this card come out. All 4 of the cards that I drew, all of the runes have a sort of darker energy associated with them. There's not too many of them in the runes, actually, so it is quite interesting that all 4 of them have a darker sort of energy associated with it, but I'm not surprised by it, because I really sense that right now we're going through, I guess, a mass awakening, but also like moving through the darkness towards the age of Aquarius. So going from like the age of Pisces, which is very sort of mysterious and mystical and dark, and moving into a lighter phase with the age of Aquarius, where we start to support each other and love each other. So it's quite vital that, I guess, for you, Pile 3, in order to serve humanity, you need to like, you know, serve yourself first and make sure that you are being very authentic and being the best version of yourself. So moving on, let's see what else is coming in for you in July 2020 with your oracle cards, your moonology cards. Whoop. Your first card is the new moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. Okay, well, that's lovely. That's what we need to hear. At least you're supported through this dark phase, pile 3. You have the new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. Nice. Okay. You have the card of the mind, number 38. Openness, flexibility, imagination, and learning. And you have the card of the woman, number 29. What I am seeing for you, pile 3, is that you've been doing some shadow work for a while. This isn't new. This isn't something that's just going to be a sudden fresh start. But I do see you focusing on it a little bit more and taking it, I guess, more seriously, realizing that this is something that actually has some benefit for you. So starting to commit to doing that shadow work, like seeing your dark side and sort of allowing it to be exposed to the light a little bit more so that you can overcome certain challenges and really dedicate yourself to being a person that like really is in alignment with your true values. I think you're starting to realize through all of your hard work with the new moon in Capricorn here, that the more that you do and the more that you commit to overcoming these darker aspects of your personality, the happier you are and the lighter you feel. And I do sense that you're starting to realize that this is something that you're doing for your greater good, yes. But you are protected through this process too. Luck is on your side. That's a real indication to me that that your guides are supporting you on this journey, basically, to make sure that you can like get onto the path of actually being the light and being like the best version of yourself so that you can then support other people too. I also see here that there's an opportunity for you to like start to like overcome these challenges in a different way, to maybe change the way that you actively face your darker aspects. The reason I say that is that you've got the mind here. It says your openness, flexibility, imagination, and learning. And along with the woman here, whose third eye is quite open here, sort of receiving, I guess, activation and downloads. The woman being very intuitive, I sense that there is a calling for you from these cards to take some time to look after your own health. I think maybe at the start of July 2020, take a break from doing all of the shadow work. Maybe look after yourself and do something that will lift your spirits a little bit more, and tune out from doing all of this work quite actively so that you can allow some new methods on how to care for yourself and to overcome this darkness come in. Your guides in the universe are trying to pass on some further wisdom and insight on how you can better work through these challenges that you are actively facing right now, pile 3. I see here a very strong, physically strong group too. Not only are you emotionally strong, but I see a very strong physical group. And the reason I say that is because you've got your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn being the goat with the, well, it's a fish goat really. With the horns, a very strong, powerful group, but also the card of I was. The man is very physically strong and has the ability to overcome these challenges. You can really draw upon your resilience and inner strength to work through this. But also the need for you in 2020 sort of balance those energies to rely upon your resilience and your physical strength, your resolve to overcome these challenges, but also to just sort of relax through it too to some degree, so that you can work out what the best method is, so that your guides can communicate with you and actually like point you on the right direction with the new moon in Sagittarius here to guide you through this challenging time right now. Trust in the intuitive insights and hits that you're receiving from your guides, pile 3, because they're actively working with you, so that you can get through this phase and feel a lot lighter and be happier. I see here a lot of like, I guess the higher chakra colors too. So you have the mind associated with, I guess, the third eye. There's the third eye activated in the woman here. But you also have like a lot of magenta and violet in a new moon in Sagittarius, along with a lot of purple and sort of indigo in the I was card, indicating that your two higher chakras, your crown chakra and your third eye chakra, your mind chakra, are very like in tune, and that you are receiving a lot of guidance at this time. So it's time to just sort of relinquish any control and to allow that insight to work its magic, basically, pile 3. Yeah, so in terms of blessings coming your way, I think you'll actually start to like relinquish a little bit, to surrender to this, and not so much enjoy the process, but it'll be a lot easier when you actually allow on those insights to guide you through it. And that's a blessing in the sense that you won't be struggling so much, like the man in the I was card. And I do sense that you'll be getting through this quite soon too. The more work that you do and the more you commit to the more you commit to this path and actually overcome the darkness, the easier it gets, I guess, and the more confidence you have in your abilities to transmute this energy. Lovely. On that, pile 3, let's get some further messages about what blessings and guidance is coming your way in July 2020. There is a need for you to just persevere through this too. So you've got the new moon in Sagittarius. Who just shoots the arrow and follows that direction, basically, to charge ahead with it. But also the new moon in Capricorn too. Capricorn being the hard workers that are very dedicated and motivated, know how to commit to something. I just realized that you've got 2 new moons too, so a fresh start, new energy coming, I guess, new inspiration, a new new inspiration to actually continue on this path and to continue working. If you've started to feel really drained and lacking in energy and starting to feel quite depleted and depressed, I sense that in July 2020, you'll start to feel more invigorated to continue to do the work so that you can actually get through it and be a better person. Oh, okay. All right. So the 3 cards that came out for you, the Knight of Wands, which for me really is like the archetype of being on a spiritual journey. So the Page of Wands came out in pile 2 too. There might be, if you were deliberating between pile 2 and 3, there might be some messages there for you in pile 2 too, because it has a similar theme and similar cards came out. So they got the Page of Wands, which is, I guess, the inspiration of a new spiritual path. But for me, the Knight of Wands is that spiritual wanderer that is on a mission, that wants to like experience the world and learn as much as you can. You've also got here the 10 of Wands that came out too, indicating like, I guess, emotional burden. You're feeling quite burdened from this. So the cards are just reminding you that in July 2020, you're going to get that inspiration and passion to continue on your journey. Similar to, I guess, Sagittarius here, which is the archer, basically wanting to like set off on their spiritual journey, basically. And your final card, oh lovely, is the Queen of Cups, which I see you tapping into, and this is kind of the finale of your journey. Once you do all of that work, pile 3, you'll be a lot more emotionally balanced. You'll feel a lot better within yourself and be a lot more comfortable with who you are, knowing that you've identified your darker aspects and are starting to, I guess, master them and be in control of them, but also knowing how to keep yourself in balance and to find happiness, to be compassionate to yourself and other people. So this journey that you're on, pile 3, is really leading you into to being a lot lighter and being a lot more loving, compassionate and caring, which is something that I guess will serve the rest of humanity also, really. I am noticing a lot of fire energy here too. So you have the new moon in Sagittarius, Sagittarius being a fire sign, you have the Knight of Wands and you have the Ten of Wands, indicating a lot of inspiration and passion. A very fiery group that, I guess, really sort of chases their dreams and desires. And just know that once you get through all this, you're going to end up feeling a lot happier and more satisfied with who you are. On that pile 3, let's get a closeout message for you from the Angels of Abundance Oracle deck. Yeah, this hasn't been an easy journey for you, pile 3. I'm starting to see that with the new moon in Capricorn, basically just continuing, keep going on your journey, but also with the Ten of Wands, along with the rune of I was there with the man tied to the pole, this has been quite a troubling and trialing time for you. It hasn't been easy work, but I sense the more that you do, the more you realize that it's actually for your own benefit. Oh, there's your card. Okay. It says, detox your friendships. Your abundance flow is being affected by the people with whom you're spending time. So be discerning about your associations and relationships. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. Interesting. So I think that's some guidance in terms of part of your journey here, pile 3. You've done a lot of inner work and shadow work, I see, and you're continuing on that. I do sense that in July you'll be more inspired to continue, but this card is really just calling for you to actively look at your relationships around you and who is serving your greater good and who is not, who's holding you back, or really who isn't sort of lifting you up and allowing you to be the best version of yourself. So one aspect of the shadow work that you are being called to look at is your relationships around you and who has your back and who doesn't, who is actually actively benefiting you and who's kind of weighing you down a little bit. I sense that you already know this too, though, pile 3. This isn't news to you. I do see a very intuitive group here with the Woman and the Mind card. I think you've with the Ten of Wands here, you've been aware of the need to sort of reassess your relationships in terms of cutting people out that aren't for your greater good, but it's not something that actually is a lot of fun, really. It's quite a challenging and heartbreaking thing to have to do, but the cards are really calling for you to do that because it is for your greater good, and you'll feel a lot more lighter and satisfied knowing that those people that are around you that you choose to have in your life actually comfort and care for you, and vice versa. That's all I have for you, pile 3. Just know that once you get through this work, you'll feel a lot better. And I do see a positive future with the Queen of Wands here. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe. And let's move on to pile 4. Hello, pile 4. With the rune of Isa, which is a rune associated with ice, slow-moving energy, like the glacier, destructive forces, but very slow-moving. A very sort of concentrated, determined energy. Generally, it's not always the most positive of energies either. I guess ice can be both healing and destructive, basically, depending on how you choose to use it. All 4 of the runes that came out had the potential to have, I guess, a darker side to the rune. There's not too many sort of dark energies in the runes, really. So it's quite coincidental, I think, that all 4 of them have, I guess, a darker side to it. But I'm not really surprised by that because right now, I think the collective consciousness is really feeling something quite dark and deep with what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot of negativity, and it's, I think, the start of the change from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius in 2020. I see being the year that is the precipice of something new and inspiring, moving from, I guess, a darker period of confusion and lack of clarity into, I guess, an age where we start to like lift each other up and ascend as humanity as one. So with the ISA card here, I see that you've probably been working through something quite slowly and quite conscientiously. You have a lot of power too. You're very resilient and you've got a lot of inner strength, and you've been working through changing your life very slowly and conscientiously, and I think that's quite commendable. So on that pile 4, let's get some further messages for you about what's coming your way in July 2020. Blessings from your oracle cards. Your first card is the new moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. Excellent, lovely. Okay, keep at it. Basically, just know that that once you get through all of this inner work, that your dreams will come through and prosperity lies ahead. Lovely. You have the new moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. You have number 15 in the solar plexus chakra. And your final card is number 39 in Fish. What I am seeing for you, pile 4, is the need to take a break and to start to just to enjoy the finer things in life right now. July 2020 is a time for you to take a break from the hard work that you've been doing, not only in terms of like changing yourself for the better, but I think maybe it's calling for you to take a holiday or to start enjoying those things that bring you joy, that lift you up and make you feel alive again. The reason I'm saying that is you've got the solar plexus chakra, which reminds me of like the sun card, the heart, feeling joy and happiness, but also the new moon in Taurus. It says here prosperity lies ahead, but the sign of Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, which is the planet associated with beauty and aesthetics and actually enjoying those sensual things in this world, this reality. So I see it's a time for you to, like the Fish card here, tapping into your emotions and feeling love again, to start treating yourself, start undertaking some activities that show yourself like self-love, doing those things that lift your spirits, enjoying the finer things in life, maybe going out for dinner with friends and having a really beautiful, luscious meal and a glass of wine. Having a holiday, going to the beach or going hiking in the mountains, getting a massage, doing those things that are both sort of decadent but make you feel good and feel alive again. Spending time with family also, with the new moon in Cancer here, you and your loved ones are safe. Cancerians are very sort of family oriented. So there's a need for you also in July 2020 to really like tap into that joy and to open your heart to your family again, to spend time from family and allow them to like lift your spirits and fill your cup again. So time out is what's required for you in July 2020, and I think that's a blessing, really. We all need like some time to recharge and to just do things that bring us joy, that make us feel good. I've also just noticed, also very similar to pile 3 in the sense that you've got 2 new moons here. So you have the new moon in Taurus, prosperity lies ahead. You've also got the new moon in Cancer, you and your loved ones are safe, which is a really lovely message. That's nice to know. New moons are fresh energy, basically. I sense that what you need this time out basically to feel alive and to recharge again, so that you can like, have an abundance of energy to continue on your path, both working on yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself, but also on your career or whatever it is that you've been working on in the past. We all need a break so that we can come back into those activities with the most gumption and passion, basically. Because I do see a very powerful group here. a very determined group, lots of masculine energy in this reading, with the rune of INSTA here in the man with the wand, but also the solar plexus, which is a very like the divine masculine center point of our body. I also see a group that's quite emotional too. So you have the new moon in Cancer, Cancerians being, I guess, the most emotional of all of the star signs, basically a very sensual and compassionate group. But also, I guess, the fish here with the cups in the water associated with your emotions. Taurines too, ruled by the sign of the planet of Venus. Venus being all about love and beauty. A very sort of emotional group that enjoys the finer aspects of life. And I think you're being called to really tap into that again, Pile 4, to take a break from whatever it is that you've been working on, but to just enjoy something different. Because I see that you've been going through some hardships yourself also. With the rune here of INSTA, this has been a very sort of slow burn, something that's been, I guess, eating at you over time, but now it's time to really address it and to work on those things by actually just removing yourself from that for a while. The last thing I'm seeing here, so in the rune of INSTA with the man and his wand here, he has I guess an emerald, what looks like a diamond sort of, with a light sort of refracting from it at the top, along with the emeralds here in the fish, which really aligns to me in terms of like, just really enjoying the finer aspects of life, those natural beautiful things like art or crystals or gems. You're a group that really like gets a lot of pleasure out of your visual sort of stimulations. But I also see here a group that has the ability to shine a light on other people and to lift their spirits too. You're a very emotional group that knows how to like phrase things in a certain way that puts a smile on people's faces. You see the beauty in everything around you, and you have the ability to allow other people to see things from a different perspective and to see the beauty in every situation too. I see you in July 2020 like really enhancing that skill. And you'll do that by actually taking time out to appreciate what's around you. Once you take the time to appreciate those beautiful things around you, you'll enhance your ability to be able to share that gift with other people. Lovely. On that, Pile 4, let's get some further messages from the universe and your spirit guides about what's coming your way in July 2020. Okay, the first card that came out for you is the card of Justice. You also have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Yes, for sure, it's time for you to show yourself some self-love. Pile 4, the Queen of Pentacles for me, in reverse, is all about treating yourself first, taking some time to look after your own needs. She's very abundant in everything she wants, and she likes to care for other people. With the card of Justice here also, it's time for you to like change the scales a little bit, to like start to give yourself that love that you give so freely to other people. A very loving and compassionate group here. With the new moon in Cancer, also Cancerians being the most compassionate and loving of all of the star signs, a group that really likes to look after your family and your friends. You're in most comfort when you're around those people that you care for, in your own home environment, or around those people, or being in those places that you consider to be like your niche, your home. But it's time for you to take some time out and start giving that love and compassion back to yourself. Because you are a very caring and compassionate group, but you need to fill your own cup here, like the cups in the fish card. in terms of being able to like continue to give out that support and that love to all of those other people that you care for. You are the gem in everyone's heart, basically, pile 4. I know that's corny, but people see you as that shining light that they can turn to really like raise their own spirits. But that can be quite taxing on your own emotional body. If you are constantly giving out to other people, I guess you don't have that resources and the reserves anymore to continue to do that. So it's time for you to take a break and to actually focus on yourself during this month. Your final tarot card, oh, is a Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which I see in a way as being a warning that there's the potential for you to continue cycling through this sort of hardships that you've been going through recently if you don't take a break, I think, pile 4. And just remember that it should be fun too. Do those things that actually make you feel alive and that you love, that bring you inspiration and put a smile on your face. This shouldn't be like something that is a chore. Take a break and enjoy it. Because the cards are indicating that if you don't soon, I sense that it's really going to have some detrimental effects on your, I guess, on your emotional self, your mental body also. Yeah, so change this pattern and cycle that you're in. Take a break and start afresh with these 2 new moon cards here. On that pile 4, let's get a closeout message for you from the Angels of Abundance Oracle deck. You do have a lot of energy and a lot of reserve too, pile 4. I see that with the solar plexus card here, along with the card of Isa. You're a very strong-willed individual that can push through like your boundaries basically and keep going, but at some point I think you just need to take a break and focus on your own needs. Ah, what a lovely message. You have the card of God is your source. Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source of God, and your faith opens a doorway to receive. In God, there is no lack or limitation. Rather, there is plenty of abundance for all to share. Okay. So what I'm getting for that for you, pile 4, is the need to, yes, take a break and to recharge so that you can offer that abundance of love to everyone else around you. But I think in July 2020, there's also a need to like reconnect to something higher. If you are quite spiritually inclined, maybe take this time and this opportunity when you take a break to tap into that higher connection again through meditation or self-reflection. Because I do see that you have the ability to tap into a higher connection too, with the gem emanating that light on the man's wand in the Isa card. There is a strong connection with your guides in the universe here, but I think you've been so focused on overcoming certain challenges in your own life and helping people overcome their own challenges that maybe you've sort of let that fall away to some degree. So the cards are basically saying tap into that connection again so that you can recharge also and help inspire other people on their journey. That's all I have for you, pile 4. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.